my name is Selena Aguilera, and I will be presenting the Lemon Grove incident. And here is a quote: "A forgotten landmark in American civil rights history." Setting of the scene. So, what was happening in the U.S. in the 1930s? Obviously, we've known that the Great Depression was impacting families of color harshly, not just even just colored, but it seemed like it was everybody in general. Raising anti-Mexican sentiment in the Southwest, segregations in schools, and spreading beyond black/white divides. So, what happened in Lemon Grove? In 1931, Mexican American children were ordered to attend a separate school. Parents refused and filed a lawsuit with the support from the Mexican consulate. In the case of Roberto Alvarez versus the Board of Trustees of Lemon Grove, the judge ruled in favor of the families, the first successful school desegregation in the case in U.S. history. So at this time, I also understood that it started off with a parent saying, like, why is it that my child has to go to this school, and then this child that is also related to Roberto Alvarez, because his other family is just white, Caucasian white, I would say, and they also got a free pass because it seemed like because the children were light-skinned, white, or seen as white, or Caucasian, they were allowed to go to one school, and Alvarez found it not fair because his kids could not go to that school and had to attend a different school where this became a huge issue. Okay. Cultural forces behind the case. So, assimilation's policy targeted the Mexican American youth. Scientific racism and belief of Angelo security, and the fear of immigrant population is seen in legislation and education. It's a quote by Gordon Suzanne on cross-border rhetoric and community advocate. That's where I took some of my quote from, so I added it here, where this is one of the people that also took and recorded this part of the Lemon Grove. What the story challenges the myth that school desegregation began with Brown versus Board of Education, the assumption that racism was only black/white, when they obviously know there's more to it, because it wasn't just black and white, it was also Native Americans, Asians, just anybody outside of white. If you want me just to be shorten this, is because everybody else had to be desegregated, and the whites people and Caucasians usually have the different school, which is also the better schools, the better atmosphere. Even neighborhoods is different from somebody that lived in a Mexican, Latino, Hispanic household. Blacks, Native Americans, their way of living and where they had to go to school was different from somebody that was white or Caucasian, or a student that's white and Caucasian. The idea is that Latinos were silent in the civil rights history. And this is from my takeaway quote of Michael Midget on why the Lemon Grove is left out of textbooks, because they obviously don't want you to really know that it wasn't just blacks and whites, but it was also the Latino communities and Hispanic communities that were dealing with this issue. So why does this still matter? It shows how everyday people can fight injustice and win, reveals how civil rights are often won before they widely are recognized. It also pushes us to ask what else is missing from our history books. It is also a quote from Robert Alvarez, Community Organizing Resistance. So it matters because even though these people went through it back in the 1930s, it still goes on today. I honestly feel that it has not changed since even during that time, from 2025. I feel like we're slightly moving forward, but there's really still an issue, and it's not just schools but in communities as well. It's not really told. I had to find out this on my own while we were doing the Capstone project, and I feel that this one kind of let me understand that it's not just one community that's affected, like blacks and white. There was more communities that were also affected, which this kind of sparked that flame. Were like, no, like this is wrong, and my child has every right to go to a school just like anybody else's child. And my final reflection is that the story is a reminder that even in small towns, great things happen when people come together. We need to tell these stories because they show students that history is not just something that happens far away, it is made by people like them. And here are my sources. Thank you, everyone.